right now. Pittsburgh's best sports show is about to begin. Call us or tweet us. We've got things to talk about on the Ireland Contracting Nightly Sports Call, powered by FanDuel Sportsbook.
Pens win their 6th in a row. Another Pitt Panther opts out of the Peach Bowl. And once again, hockey is back at Robert Morris. We'll talk about all those things and more tonight on the Ireland Contracting Nightly Sports Call, powered by FanDuel Sportsbook, both here on Pittsburgh CW and simulcast on 93.7 The Fan. Hello again, everybody. I'm Josh Taylor. Good to talk to you on a Friday night. And it's Friday night. Usually when I'm here on Friday night, my guest, you see him often too, and he is live in the 93.7 The Fan newsroom. Paul Zeise from the Post-Gazette in 93.7 The Fan. Want to talk about, of course, the Steelers having their matchup coming up with Tennessee. That's going to be 1 o'clock Sunday over on KDKA. You can watch it there. Also, Steelers kickoff at 10:30. Don't forget about that. Plus, after the game, the extra point. All of that going on over on KDKA. So we can talk about that as well. Damari Mathis, of course, the senior cornerback, for Pitt. He opts out of the Peach Bowl. So you now have a starter on defense with Damari Mathis and the starter on offense with Kenny Pickett. That has since opted out. So there's a lot to discuss there. And, of course, this went final within the hour. Pens beat Buffalo 3-2 in overtime. They have now won 6 in a row. Worth pointing this one out. They're now 2-0 when they won the diagonal jersey. So there's something to point out there, too. Paul's here with me. Paul, let's talk about let's start with Damari Mathis. That was an announcement that came down this evening. So now we have 2 starters for Pitt that have officially announced that they will sit out of the Peach Bowl. How many more do you expect possibly to make the same kind of announcements with players that probably stand to have something to gain in the draft coming up?
I think this will be it. I think the thing with Mathis is, if you remember, I think late in the season he had a couple of little nagging injury type things. And I think what he's looking at is if he could do his rehab and really, basically rest and make sure that his ankle is 100% and ready to go for the Senior Bowl and all the other stuff that goes on, for the combine and the pro days and all that other stuff. Because if he were to, practice for 3 weeks or whatever it is until, between the season and whatnot, if he were to practice and then go play a game, I mean, you don't really give your body a chance to rest, and maybe you don't perform the way you need to. And of course, at that position that he's playing, you better be able to run really, really well against the clock, and all those kinds of things. So I think his decision wasn't quite the same as Kenny Pickett's. I don't want to say he's injured, but, he needed, he felt like he needed to just let his body heal a little bit. And this was the best way for him to do it. But I don't think there'll be anybody else.
Now, speaking of Kenny Pickett, let's move over there because Pat Narduzzi talked about the situation with Kenny Pickett and the comments that he gave, the things that he laid out, says he wanted to protect Kenny Pickett, pretty much sounded like he was okay with the thought of Kenny Pickett not playing. It sounds like that he's accepted the fact that Kenny Pickett's not playing and he understands why. Did you get the same thing from him?
I would say that everything we know about Pat Narduzzi, everything that we know, and based on everything he's said in the past, and even, some of the things he said about, the NIL and this, that, and everything. I mean, he's an old school football coach, and he's a loyal guy and a loyalty guy. So, I guarantee you, he's not real happy about this situation. But that being said, he's evolved in some ways in that he's smart enough to know if you say the right things publicly, it's going to help you in recruiting because all these guys think that they can go to, that they can go to the NFL. They want to know that they've got a coach that's going to support them getting to the NFL. And so, he basically said the right thing. But deep down, I don't think he believes it. I think he thinks guys should, finish the season and be with their team and all that other stuff. That's just who he is.
All right, let's shift gears here and talk Steelers. Of course, they've got Tennessee coming up Sunday. Tennessee's a really hard team to read. They beat Jacksonville 20-0 last week. The Jacksonville team's got a lot of issues, by the way. They just fired their head coach. But they've also got a couple bad losses on their resume. They lost to the Jets earlier this season. And when you look at this game, it's not a must-win, but it's as close as must-win gets. T.J. Watt talked about earlier today how this team just has really bad starts. We're talking about a team that was down 23-0 at halftime last week against Minnesota. They were down 31-3 a couple weeks before that against Cincinnati at halftime. They've just been notoriously slow starters all season long. There's been a lot of talk about why that's such a problem, but where does it start in your mind trying to fix it?
Well, I mean, I think the big thing, when it comes to the Steelers in this game is that they're healthy. Like this, their defense is healthy. That's a big part of, what's been, part of their problem is they've been missing so many guys. But it looks like they're going to have Hayden back. They're going to have Highsmith back. They're going to have Watt back. They're going to have Spillane back. That helps. And I think offensively, if you look at where they're at offensively, to get off to a better start, I think it's pretty clear. They've got to basically go to whatever it is that this offense that we've seen in the second half, whatever that is, they need to go to it. And they need to go to it at the start. And that probably means scrapping some of what Matt Canada wants to do and doing what Ben Roethlisberger wants to do. And so, it's going to be interesting to see. They've got some things they need to fix. And I think that, they have the ability to get them fixed, and especially on defense, just because I think now, you've got your almost your full complement of players back. It really changes what you're able to do. Outscored
78-16 in the last 4 weeks in the first half. That really sticks out. We will take a break. When we come back, we're taking your phone calls, 412-575-2600 on the Bordas and Bordas hotline. I'm also taking your tweets at Josh Taylor HD. Stick around.